Hello everybody, this is Alchemist2 again, and I am updating you on my latest projects. I am currently working on a script called Hanami, which in English means flower viewing. And of course this is a romance, and I'm up to about page 9 in this script. Usually my scripts are longer than this, but I guarantee you it's going to be much longer than that. I'm working on a children's story called Button. I already finished my last ethics saga, which was called Alien Ethics. It's kind of a long story of how I actually began on that, but the conception for the ethics saga began in all places in my ethics class, because I thought, you know, it would be interesting if monsters and different sorts of phenomena had their voice and could actually express ethics, their opinions on ethics, and go through different ethical issues in this saga. And the last one was actually a little bit more happy than the other ones had been, and I really enjoyed writing it. Let's see, I am writing a couple of fan fictions based on Prince of Persia. One is about 3 sisters who are born to Dastan and Tamina. And they are the guardians of the dagger. The other one is about the first female assassin, and her real name is Diamond, but they know her throughout Persia as Viper. She has no other name. She is feared by everyone. I am also writing a fan fiction that crosses over Angela Anaconda and Code Lyoko, which I'm going to be co-writing with a friend of mine. So I think that'll be weird and enjoyable at the same time, and bizarre, because I've never really written a crossover like that before. I think the best crossover that I did concerning Lyoko was Reboot, as I thought that the two just fit hand in glove. They worked really well with one another. I just had a blast writing that one, and I wish I could write another crossover that was similar to that. If I were, I would think maybe Serial Experiments, excuse me, Lane, or Ergo Proxy. I haven't watched Ergo Proxy yet, but maybe that or Ghost in the Shell. That would probably work quite as well. But they would be just really violent and full of action and adventure, and the just the mind-bending quality of that would be off of the scale. But if anybody has an idea like that with Lyoko coinciding with it, I would definitely love to hear it. Let's see what else I have here. Let me get the rest of my notes up and go ahead and start reading them. I'm writing a script called Mr. Independent, and that's actually a romantic comedy. I'm writing another romantic comedy. It's about a singer who she actually is pressured into singing. It's called Songbird. If she really doesn't have any time for herself, and she doesn't even sing the songs that she wrote. Her manager forbids her to do that, but her drummer has sort of a infatuation with her, and she's totally oblivious to it. She's in love with this local jock, and the jock is a total jackass. But There's another one I'm writing. It's going to be called Sun, Sand, and Surf. It's basically about a surfer. He's an instructor. He teaches people how to wakeboard and surf, and also how to windsurf and swim. If they don't know how to swim, he teaches them that. He teaches them how to ski. And of course, this student that comes into his class, she's an illegal immigrant. And she doesn't speak English very well, and somehow, some way, love breaks that barrier. And at least when you least expect, it's another one that's a romantic comedy. Let's see. I've got one called The Resistance, which is more of a apocalyptic sci-fi vision of the future during the tribulation period. It's kind of like Left Behind, only different. I think it would be a little bit more realistic, because the people that I have involved, they fend for themselves with the weapons that they've created. Actually, they have inventors in their team. And there's another one I'll be writing called The Octagon Society, and it's basically about a society that has the ability to restore and heal, and they also defend against evil without using violence. They're kind of like the psychic soldiers during the 70s. Of course, psychic soldiers are still around, whether we want to admit to it or not. That's the topic for another time. Let me see. Thief of Hearts. It's kind of like if you're familiar with Lupin the Third, it's sort of like that, only Americanized, and it's all women, so that should be interesting. And it's a whole group of thieves, and there's a romance involved with that as well, because my main chief of police, he falls for the main thief. That's why it's called Thief of Hearts. Then I've got a sort of a fantasy story. It's called Sparks. It's about these gypsies that have the ability to control fire, and they're sort of outcast. And then I've got one called The Dream Thief, and it's about a king named King Nairu who steals dreams. He collects dreams, basically, the ones he likes. He keeps, since he has none of his own. He's taking other people's dreams from them. And then there's only one girl who can enter into the realm of dreams and defeat him. Then there's another romantic comedy. It's about rival florists, and I think that'll be fun and entertaining. And then there's one called Domesticated. It's about a veterinarian. It's a romantic comedy, as I know I sort of sense a theme here. And I already talked about Resistance. Yeah. Visions of Romance is going to be a huge deal, because I've got all these different songs I've written down that are going to be used in this musical. Yeah, musical. Usually I don't write musicals, but I haven't written a musical in a long time. But I thought that this would be intriguing, because it would all be about different ideas in romance, and it would even go with different subjects, with love and lust and every emotion in between with that involved. Whispers from the Past. It's horror, but not really quite horror. It's more of a suspense, because it's about a lady who she buys a house that happens to have been one of the destinations for the Underground Railroad, and the lady that she meets, the spirit that inhabits this house, doesn't know that she's dead. So